So Alex, how much do you know about Genshin Impact?
Basically nothing.
Okay, and you said you'd seen a video I'd made before. Do you remember much about that?
I remember Klee, she was a little girl that did fire.
So I'm going to go through some characters for you, and I just want you to try and guess what kind of element of magic they use, what weapon you think they might use, and just sort of what they make you think about. Do you think what kind of person you think they are? That sort of thing.
Cool.
All right, so I mentioned before, but the 6 potential elements so far, we've got Anemo, which is air, Cryo, which is ice, Electro, which is electric, Geo, which is like earth, Hydro, which is water, and Pyro, which is fire. And then there's the 5 weapons, which is a bow, a catalyst, which is like magic, Claymore, which is a big sword, Spear, which is a spear, and Sword, which is a normal sword. Okay, so I'm going to go alphabetically, and I'm going to start with Mondstadt characters first. So I'm going to give you about a minute to try and tell me what you think, and then afterwards I'll tell you if you're right and
Cool.
a little bit about them. So first one we have is Albedo.
Right.
Do you have an element in mind?
He's not fire. He's not water. I don't think he's ground. I reckon air.
Okay. What about his weapon?
Let's go sword.
Okay. And what kind of person do you think he is?
Bit of a loner. Doesn't really do... Like, he's kind of the loner that automatically became the leader of the pack despite hating it.
Okay. Yeah, anything else? You think? You know he uses, what did you say, air?
Yeah.
How do you think he works in a team? Like, is he the main damage, the supportive? Does he a healer, a tank, something like that?
He's not a tank. I'd say he's like the quick one that goes in for like really big attacks, but isn't in there long.
Okay, well, Albedo is actually Geo.
Oh, okay.
And he does use a sword, so you got that right.
Right.
You were right, he's quite sort of, I'm not sure if you'd necessarily say shy, but he doesn't quite get social interactions. But he's quite supportive, so he jumps in, puts down this like area of effect, and then jumps out and he swaps someone else. So yeah, that's Albedo. I'll move on to the next one. Amber.
She's definitely fire. Just straight away, she's
What
fire.
makes you think that?
I reckon
The name? The outfit?
I didn't even think about the name. I reckon she's magic. Fire magic.
Okay.
She seems very
So catalyst, sorry.
Yeah.
For the weapon, yeah.
Seems very friendly. Like makes friends easily. Kind of like mid-pack, like not quite like super popular or like everyone likes her. But she's definitely tries to help out everyone.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say she's like the helper. Maybe not healer, but helps out with everything.
Like a supportive role.
Yeah.
So you were right with Pyro.
Yep.
She's actually an archer, so she uses a bow.
Oh, okay.
And she is Mondstadt's, I believe she's in charge of the wind gliders like group, so she like makes the main character take a gliding lesson before he can ride his glider sort of thing. But she is the first character who you meet outside of obviously yourself and your assistant, which we'll get onto later. But yeah, she is very friendly. I think a lot of people like her. And then she's in a weird spot where she's kind of not great, unfortunately, but she can be a damage or a support, really. So yeah, that's Amber. Next we have Barbara.
I'd say ice. She's got a big coat on.
Yeah.
And she's wearing a lot of white. I don't think she's super attacky. So definitely not claymore or sword. Maybe spear? No, she's not spear. I'm gonna go magic again. The catalyst thing.
And Cryo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of role do you think?
I very much support.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair enough.
does a decent amount of damage, but she tends to focus on other people rather than the enemy.
Okay, so Barbara's actually Hydro,
Oh, okay.
water, and she does use a catalyst. She's a magic user, but she's pretty much primarily a healer.
Yeah.
So both her abilities you heal people, and while she can do Hydro damage, she's not usually built around dealing damage. Although she can be, like everyone can be in the game. And then she's actually an idol. Like you saw earlier, she was singing and stuff. And she's one of the few characters, like her magic is her like making stars and hearts out of water. And normally if you're in the middle of a town, if you're attacking, people would be scared, but they stop and clap if Barbara does her magic. So everyone loves Barbara. And she's a nun at the church. So we'll move on to the next character, which is Bennett.
I reckon fire.
Yeah, Pyro.
Yeah, I reckon Claymore for him.
Okay.
He seems very much a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a fighter. Either Claymore or sword, but I reckon Claymore.
Okay. And what? So you said element, Claymore, or sword, and you think he's what kind of role?
Pyro. Oh, so yeah, Pyro. Front like runner, does main damage. People kind of tend to ignore him a little bit. He's kind of the goofball though, so like they watch from afar and laugh.
Fair enough. That's a good observation. Yeah. So Bennett is Pyro, and he uses a sword, and most people would consider him a support because the way his like ultimate move works, he makes everyone who stands in a circle do more damage. But you can use him as a main damage, which I do, just because he also makes his own damage stronger, and he has really quick skills. So yeah, and as you correctly pointed out, he's very unlucky. He's known as the biggest worst luck. People avoid him because if they're near him, they're gonna get bad luck because of him. But everyone loves Bennett. Well, I do anyway. Okay, so next we have Diluc.
I want to go fire as well.
Yeah.
I reckon spear.
Okay. What makes you think that?
I don't know. He's very tall.
He is.
I think
he is one of the tallest in the game, on par with I think two other characters or one other character.
I don't think he's Claymore, but he might be sword or bow. But I don't think he's magic either. But I'm leaning towards spear.
Okay.
And then I say he's a loner again. Doesn't really have many friends. He just kind of goes about on his own, which means he's probably like kind of main attack. Doesn't really need a support, but kind of is better with one.
Okay. And you think he's sort of tanky main damage?
I don't think he's tanky. I think he's quite quick and does the damage like quickly, so he doesn't take much damage.
Well, you're pretty right there. For the longest time, Diluc was considered the best like damage dealing character in the game. He is Pyro, but he does use a Claymore. Okay. You were wrong there. And yeah, he's very much the loner type.
You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you.
He, as he's just said there, he'd rather you deal with the Knights of Favonius than him. He doesn't actually like the Knights of Favonius. He thinks they're a bit of a waste of space. They're like the sort of knights who run Mondstadt. And then moving on, we have Diona.
If there was something to do with controlling pets, I'd go with that. But I'm going to go with air.
An emo, okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. She just kind of seems like it. Possibly ground, because she's got a bit of yellow around her.
She does. Not always. Colours aren't always. I mean,
so far they have been.
A lot of characters have been, yeah, but.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with air. Oh, she even has a tail.
She does, yeah.
I reckon magic. Maybe bow, but she doesn't seem very like fighty. She's very much like stays at the back of the group and probably slightly more damage than support, but does a bit of both.
Okay, and what element did you say, sorry?
I think air.
Okay. So Diona is cryo, ice, and she's an archer.
Okay.
And she's more of a tanky support, strangely.
Right.
Her main skill does a bit of damage, but then it gives the characters a shield. And then her other skill does damage in an area, but gives the rest of the team healing and stuff. But yeah, as you point out, she's one of the few sort of animal people in Genshin.
They should definitely add an animal power.
Well, we'll see some other people soon who have similar stuff. But yeah, Diona, she hates the alcoholic drinks industry, but unfortunately she's cursed with amazing drinks making abilities. So she'll put like toads and things in people's drinks, and then people find out that it's like the best drink ever and stuff. Next we have Fischl.
I'm gonna go with electric.
Yeah.
She's got the purple all around her. She seems very feisty. Electric spear, I'm gonna go with. Throw the spear and it just bursts electric everywhere. Attacks everyone. Quite heavy damage, but she's not a tank. I feel like while she has people around her, she feels like she'd be better off without them.
Okay. So Fischl is electric. She uses a bow.
I do worry about the well-being of my retinue during my impromptu absence.
I'm sure the good people of the Adventurers Guild are absolutely fine, mein Fräulein.
And the voice you just heard was her friend Oz, who's an electric bird. And she uses Oz, basically her abilities both bring forth Oz, and Oz does lots of electric damage in an area around him. She's very much a damage dealer, usually used as a support, although she can be the main damage dealer herself. And as you've seen, she's quite... what's the word? She's a bit of an interesting character. She's a... Do you know what Chinubium is? Do you know what I mean by that? She believes she's this princess from another world, but really that's just a book in the game that she is a really big fan of. Her retinue, as she calls it, is the Adventurer Guild, which is literally what most of the characters in the game work for.
Right.
And really they're just sort of people, her colleagues more than anything. You can tune in next time to find out how Alex fares guessing the rest of Genshin Impact's characters. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you'd like to see more, consider subscribing.